Alright guys, this is going to be reading for week 3. Again, remember, if y'all need anything, there's my email and my cell phone number, okay? Alright, so this week is going to be week 31 of vocabulary words. Again, you need to be reading your words and think of examples for each of the vocabulary words as you listen to them or read them, okay? On Tuesday, again, you're going to think of synonyms for each word. And we're going to do the daily warm-up. On Wednesday, think of antonyms. On Thursday, you're going to write one sentence using each of the weekly vocabulary words, and you're going to have to turn that into her. And you have to choose one vocabulary word and fill in the model, okay? And again, if you have access to Quizlet, you need to be taking your quizzes. If you don't have access to Quizlet, send Miss Harris a remind message, okay? Your vocabulary words for this week. First word is neglect, which means to not care for something properly. Consecutive, following one another in uninterrupted order. Fade, to gradually grow faint and disappear. A hobby is an activity that a person does for fun. Incentive is something that makes a person work harder. Again, you need to create your model here with one of the vocabulary words. You'll put it here. Definition, synonym, antonym of that word, and a sentence. Again, you can draw a picture also if you like, but you need to make sure you have a sentence for the word that you chose here. All right, this week's story is you're going to read the selection below and answer the questions that follow. This week's story is called Easter Chicks. Did you know some people dye chicks with beautiful, brilliant colors to give as festive Easter gifts? Dyeing baby chicks at Easter has been a long tradition. There are many people who don't believe it is safe for chicks, even though the dye used is non-toxic. Scientists say the bird's health is not affected. Some people believe this process stresses the birds and turns them into holiday playthings that are quickly discarded. People bring the birds home at Easter for their children, and then they quickly tire of them. Soon, the chickens are neglected or abandoned. Most animal shelters will not accept chickens, especially roosters. This leads to the animals being euthanized or killed. The good news is that dyeing will eventually fade off of it on its own, and the chicks grow feathers that replace the colorful fluff. And then over here underneath the picture, it says chicks can be dyed with food dye or non-toxic hair dye. All right, over here, number 1. The author included the sentence below, most likely to. Okay, so this is your sentence. This leads the animals to be euthanized or killed. So why did he include that sentence? Is it A, to illustrate why shelters never take roosters? B, show how serious the choice to buy an Easter chick can be? C, demonstrate why children should buy their hair dye at Easter? Or D, show that dyeing chicks has a positive effect on others? Number 3, which of the following correctly completes the diagram below? So you have dyed Easter chicks. You have over here, it says a long tradition. Scientists say dyeing is safe, and then you have a blank here. So what should go here in the blank? Often abandoned or neglected. All animal shelters except chickens. C, the bird's feathers are affected, or D, also known as roosters. Okay, so think of dyed Easter chicks. Think of the 2 they've given you, and think of the one that belongs here from the story. All right, down at the bottom, the prefix non means not. A prefix is added to the beginning of a word, okay? So whenever you add non to the beginning, it means not. So such as non-toxic. So it's not toxic. So think of 3 other words that have non in them and write them down. And if you can write the definition also. All right. Our next set of questions for Easter chicks says, the photograph next to the selection suggests that A, the dye is used to color the chicks is unsafe. B, the only colors used to dye Easter chicks are purple, yellow, green, and blue. C, 2 ways someone can dye an Easter chick at Easter. Or D, the process for dyeing the chicks is difficult. So think about what the words underneath the picture, and then what do those words tell you, okay? Number 2, which sentence from the selection shows that experts believe the process of dyeing chicks is not harmful? A, soon the chicks are neglected or abandoned. B, dyeing baby chicks at Easter have been a long tradition. C, some people believe this process stresses the birds and turns them into holiday playthings that are quickly discarded. Or D, there are many people who don't believe it is safe for chicks, even though the dye is non-toxic. Scientists say the bird's health is not affected. Okay, remember we're looking for the one that's not harmful. All right, and then down here at the bottom, you're going to think of a synonym for the word long. example would be prolonged, okay? Other words that mean long. All right, next story is called Paybacks. It was April Fool's Day. Zachary couldn't wait to pull a prank on his brother Joseph. He had been planning it for weeks. His mom and dad were even helping him. Once Joseph placed his friend's pet snake in Zachary's sock drawer. Another time he put a tarantula underneath Zachary's pillow. Joseph was always pulling pranks on Zachary, but today was Zachary's day to turn the tables on him. Mom brought the creatures, and Dad was going to help him get them into place when it was time. Paragraph 2. As usual, Joseph made himself scrambled eggs and was eating them at breakfast table when the rest of the family entered the kitchen. Zachary and Mom stood by the stove and pretended to cook. Dad sat down at the table with a bowl, cereal, and milk. When Zachary asked Joseph a question, Dad put worms in Joseph's plate. Joseph turned to take a bite of the eggs and saw the worms and screamed like a ghost. Mom and Dad and Zachary all laughed hysterically. The family had gotten him good. Number 1, Joseph's actions with Zachary in the past suggest that he, A, enjoys tricking his brother, B, does not like creepy crawly things, C, cares about what other people think of him, or is shy around people he does not know well. Okay, so Joseph's actions against Zachary. What did it tell us about their relationship up there? Number 2, according to the story, what is one way Zachary achieves this prank on Joseph? A, he asked his friend to loan him some worms. Think about it. Did it tell us that? B, the entire family entered the kitchen and ate breakfast. Is that how that is one way that Joseph achieves the prank? C, Mom bought the worms and Dad put them on Joseph's plates, or the worms are wiggly and slimy, okay? So think of those. Which of those helps him achieve his prank? And then you need to make sure you underline whichever one you find, okay, or choose. At the bottom, write a sentence in the story that includes a simile and explain what it means. Remember, a simile is a figure of speech that compares two things using like or as. So when you go up there and you think of a simile, there are, I think I saw at least one. There may be 2 of them up there, okay? And an example of simile would be like, the sun is as bright as a diamond. Okay, so that would be a simile. All right, the next set of questions. It says, number 1, what can the reader tell about Zachary's mom and dad based on these details? Mom bought the creatures and Dad was going to help them into place when it was time. A, they don't approve of Zachary's prank on his brother. B, they like to prank Zachary too. C, Zachary is their favorite child. Or they like to play pranks as well. So think of that and which one of those match it. Number 2, which sentence from the selection shows that Zachary's prank was successful? A, Zachary couldn't wait to pull a prank on his brother. B, Joseph was always pulling pranks on Zachary, but today was Zachary's day to turn the tables on him. C, Joseph turned to take a bite of his eggs, saw the worms, and screamed like a ghost. Or D, Mom and Dad and Zachary all laughed hysterically. So we want the one that said it was successful, not the ones that he was actually doing it, but the one where they knew they got him, okay? On this one, it says, who is the narrator of the story? So basically, who wrote this? How can you tell? Write in complete sentence. So you have first person, which would be, first person would be the person themselves is saying it. So you would see I, or if someone else is telling the story is what you need to say, like the author. All right, and that is all for this week. Well, that's all the reading packet that I have. Miss Harris in it, though, has given you some extra things that you can do. And guys, make sure you're utilizing the story online and the IXL vocabulary. There's all these cool things that y'all have, okay? So you need to be utilizing it if you can. And then don't forget, you should be reading also, okay? Hope to see y'all soon.